was more common from no 2 TV Plus. So I was ya Team Liga wife for 4 dinkomo, na Team Liga wife for Ekasa. Asante watching nan is Asante Hemaa sebi wadan bonkum so na watiko so premso apene kulabe no wase se watiasi a enkamaame no na ka asem wesi ka wose osisi na nam se sebi ontiasi enti no na wase enkoso hene a wono eno wo asonwa ase no wono ena wase wo hwe esiesie enti wutie se ne enkomo no ekọ na enkekọ akwakusimu se ke ade se opemso Hemaa ya Asante Hemaa dodo biribi na ho fedua eti asedia enka mamin enka wose dad lumba ewu nsensem ya ne kunadie na we ne bedi we ne bedi we ni no enka maame no enka wose abusia wo hwe na osiesie sansem na impo wuti nkomo na ya akoso akosisi se emplem mu na si etimisi Asante Hemaa foforo dia ene asem no omesa de back to Asante Hemaa na wahwe asiesi asem no na maame akosi ase wati medi kuna no nkomo de omodi bebida mpeso ka me ho kwaje nsem no nchirimu no ebesisi ye
can the family record is
I'm not a counsel, I'm a legal advisor.
Okay.
Retired one. Very retired one.
Okay.
But I'm not of counsel. People who are of counsel are the barristers, like what you have in Ghana, where they wear the wigs. In the UK, the barristers and solicitors and legal advisors fall into a certain category. But I'm not of counsel, even though I've had rights of audience before courts in my heydays. The little I remember, and also the experience I've had in Ghana, I'm still very much interested in the law, and especially our customary law. Indeed, I may so twice or thrice today to try and calm things down amongst us. I haven't had the privilege of seeing the judge's outright decision. However, I'm very confident that her emphasis was on the family.
Okay.
The family. And within, especially, she cited and quoted the Akan family. The head of the family, as DJ Kabi was saying, related to the Ebusiapenyi.
Okay.
This Ebusiapenyi has brought us to this purported position we are in now, because he appeared to be acting unilaterally.
That's true.
What the judge has said now is that the family, and if you notice, Ebusiapenyi in his mismatch of an interview kept saying, first he declared that yes, Ebusiapenyi will be fine now. Then quickly backtracked and said, because the show of today, we didn't get much video, but the little that I saw, the show of support on the side of Ma Ernestina and Ma Kusia, because primarily this is a case being brought by Auntie Kusia. You understand? Not Ma Ernestina. Was more on their part. A lot of the family members were there.
Yeah.
The Papa Yaos, Mofa Yaos, and Auntie Georgina, I think that's the name, siblings, cousins, even Faustina's son was also there. You understand? Ebusiapenyi knows, and he mentioned it in his speech. You see, you have to take bits of how these people, they're playing a game with us, and this is why I agree with everybody. And okay, she's gone, right? Okay, you need to calm down, because it's not a question of getting panicky, about we are not doing this right, we have given them clues. No, it's not about clues. Over here we have, like somebody said earlier, critical thinking. Whatever we are thinking, they've already thought. And which is why they try to make fast moves, like what they did after the palace, when they had the palace thing happened on Friday, and then they came and tried to vary the truth, and sway it through the Peace FM guy, whatever his name was called,
Yeah.
always trying to change the narrative if they can. So back to the issue. He has to go and settle with his family. They should carry on with the proceedings of their plans for the funeral. However, you were asking about the customary law. The customary law, you're right, was tested, which brought about the emanation of PNDC Law 111. And it's an evolving situation. It's still evolving, and especially in a lot of recent cases. I had the privilege of reading out the earlier on this afternoon. There are some cases that have come up, some like Nikwe and Nikwe, which comes up, it really sticks in my mind, which made them vary the law, that they need to include the surviving spouse and next of kin. Now, let's take a situation like somebody passed on, and they worked very hard with their nuclear the family, but the kids are probably still in secondary and university level, right?
Yeah.
However, the husband and wife have managed to amass a lot. You know, there's money in the system and everything. The bushia itself is not as flamboyantly rich or whatever. What do I say?
Yeah.
And they know the family, the wife is like, look, we can bury him. We want to take it over. If they do not include the wife as part and recognize her as part of the family, no,
Yeah.
how would they go forward?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm half a can, so I've seen it happen when my mom died, and we're all expected to pay some money. You understand? And then, unlike the Ghana tradition, where they'd say, "Who's taking the coffin? This person, the children take it. This person,
Exactly.
who will put the cake, and you put up your hand. I'll take the gravestone head." That's the Ghana side. In the Kan side, it's make trouble for everybody in the family. And say that this is what the family has to do this, but where they can't, they say I had a very learned legal luminary in Ghana advised me when my mother died, where he explained to me that look, he's been in Ghana for over 50 years since he left the UK. He's been doing family law for so long, and he can still say he still doesn't understand our Ghana family law. It's really unfair. But there is something that in front of worker that we see no, the reason why that came about, they say, the Bushian said, my mother was a big politician and an important person. So president was coming this way, and so they said it's too big a funeral, just like this, you know. Hey, I mean this. So we should use her money to bury her. And my grandmothers woke me up and said, don't do it. Tell them that to make a bobushia to do it. So if you notice, no, well, I'm not going into my personal, but that is one of the things I learned, which made me get interested. I never wanted to practice in Ghana, but it made me start getting interested in the customary law and everything. But that's about 25 years ago. But if you notice, no, the braggadocious way in which Collins and Ebenezer have been speaking, no, dropping hints here and there, say, what's the man's name again? Ebushia Penny has gone to, he's had to raise X amount of money.
I mean, and what's the role of the nuclear family? And that's what makes me question.
Without the knowledge of the nuclear family.
Yeah.
He set up a committee which does not even appear to involve the nuclear.
Yeah, which is so unfair, and that brings me to
and brings us to the point that the law states the amendment to the law states that the wife will have to be recognized and involved. Or not the wife, let's say the spouse, the surviving spouse.
Yeah,
involved and given the due respect the reasons given there was that some of our traditions, especially in the Akan ones, for instance, in the Ewe ones and things, there are some duties or rituals and customary things that have to be done. Let's read into that kuna for this particular matter. You understand? And if the wife is not part of it or the spouse is not part of it, it will bring a problem. Therefore, they need to do this for that purpose. In the preparation of the funeral, the wife who is just married to this deceased person is now brought in as part of the extended family. Do you understand? So it is there, so she can vary it. The decision from the judge will be varied. She can either go with one or two of them. I've taken it as a point the past few days to research a bit more. I've seen some pros and some cons on this issue. That is why the judge has asked them to file whatever they need to file. So that if she needs to call witnesses, she will. If she needs to have testimonials given, she would read it and then she will come out with a judgment eventually. As DJ said, her purpose is that you have to. Don't forget they wrote to her and told her, "You are not a wife. We do not recognize you as a wife." You have brought presented drinks with whoever she's supposed to present, which we know she hasn't, and you cannot use that to void an ordinance marriage. This is especially this amendments that they made to the customary law actually mentions ordinance marriages. You see, so that can augur well for her. However, if you listen to lawyer Kusi, Priscilla, the young lady, has brought in her defense.
Okay.
And is still insisting on calling herself a wife.
Which is interesting.
It's going to be fun to hear what they have to say. With reference to what they could have shown to the judge, which they didn't want to show to the open court, I gather that it was presented at the time when they were trying to make an argument for Omodia being a cow born into train much share found cuisine. I found an anomaly in their records, because if they are saying that Omakusi Otunfo, I beg to differ. I don't think we've seen that or heard that. They're going to tell him, say, but the dates, I don't think Otunfo has been officially informed. Unless when they went on Friday, they did. But I doubt that will be seen as because the first time he went there, he was given some homework to do. What do I say? And I think he's very, very mindful of that homework, because I know all Casano. Until you near him for no Casa. I'm very sure the lawyer Kusi would have advised the extended family or nuclear family of Daddy Lumba that they should go ahead and have the meeting and see what will happen. Bushia Penny cannot you have to understand. He's a Bushia Penny. If he's not the head of a family, then he's nobody. He cannot act as though he's an island. And I am very sure that the rest of the family will rise up in arms against him.
Yes, that is what I'm coming to.
When it comes to Akan, penny yard, you found court. Yet the coin in fear. You what I said, this is an decision. What I say. In terms of
but they did. They've already
I think as touches saying customary law.
Don't you believe this kind of kunano need to decide whether a nanano.
But they've already been there.
They've already been there, and it has not been so.
There. That is what the first time.
Now understand.
You understand me? They attended at the mention. They were told, no, go down to the the land was washing. You understand? As a man say.
And even
the questions that were put to them,
Akosia went to see in Carrier Hine.
Yes, before.
Yes.
Auntie Akosia and the Stina took the first step.
No, Auntie Akosia said what?
Why na mum see a kunya and fresh ebushia for ye and ebetina.
But they have the first time
Mpacho, better me a point of correction me. Like advice viewer. Ebano ebushia aware ehu asema eye ohimia ono eso onye ohimia no okoni krechi yenyi foforo ye enti no menhia na be peke obi eso ntena so enti ebushia pen ko menhia no se ankom kodi asem no ho a some gymnastics BC wo no na ekopie asawase nkoso hine no oye paramount chief otumi. But one most important thing is the judge, her ladyship, she gave respect to the tradition. Face the facts, now can on my tradition the chance to solve their disgrace.
Exactly.
Insisting on the same thing. And the same criteria didn't back because on Komuko in Koso Hini Honomuka say Ajatum Mami Akosu ape nebeye kunano.
Yes.
Anyway, Anka Eba and I can be a
yes.
But why if you
Michael, I don't want to be biased here. The meaning say even in Nanabi Krampo decided say my men or Jim not side and all ye did Anameboa.
Who say?
Omuka said, "Oh, the Maminchile Muka."
What was the question that
Omuko, you can like assembly say Ebusian Pino, na dream say Anka Yema Tuni na ye. Na Mami Akosua nko for ni say lalai omontiase because one side that justify say ono yo yere no ba ko ni justify e na emraso en support no enti honom no nkoso hene no kaka say na wo abusua pin ni krampo no asem kra da ho ma because wono uko eye ni beto ho no sa pakoso hene no sa ohini bi wo mabushe mu nkosi na yeye enti eno krampo asem da ho emawo enti no wonim sa de no so no one na secondly so wonim say oba we ono no ye oyere na kwan na wo kana wo se ono no nye oyere no wonim say enye no kware but say ewa chinuahye na sisi e wo court ni de ene mu fa nko court na mu ko sofi that side no mu hwia na maba enu tina ene no kapo court ne ka se ebusia pen na se ne no ebusia pen no ka se no ka se ebekọ hia ebekọ hia ya ahemfo ye ne ya ahemfo because yes aka kire ni so wia sambra back
you know this is what you say that
the judge has given respect to
the traditional and customary manner.
But there is a problem that is coming. It will be a very big problem for Ebushiapin and Odoboni. So men play smart. Ebushiapin should end everything. Odoboni should use their head, but also slow because of whatever criminal stuff that is coming. Because investigation in Ebano, Ebutiana na so beshi. So, also obituary.
So the investigation is still going on.
Legal document. Pacho, someone nimsa.
Who say?
Yeah. Obituary. So obituary no.
Yes, it's a legal document.
Yeah.
Enuntina lawyer Kusika Sembi. Ya ka se o ade na ya mani yekuna o ka se no. Se ya mama mini yekuna na. Won se o be mama mini yekuna na obituary no so no widow one who didi na se mbra ho odobro ni se ni di mbra ho.
Exactly.
Na o se there.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, good. And he said the moment and he didn't remember one, she can create so many problems. Because your friend is all brony no wa she's kebi. Wa kosi wa ye insembi. Now no obetume defending who say she did those things as in her authority as a wife. Because wa ye kuna de dada. Ya confirm no. So what she did those times no the family accepts her as a wife, and so she has the authority to take some decisions. And so ebe japade no so side so obi to make create side and create problems, and so it will be a problem between ordinance and tradition.
Yes.
And that problem has been caused by Ibusiapin until lawyer Kusika said never would they be allowed, they don't want to allow that thing to happen. Say mamino and once will be dikuna because lawyer Kusi knows the end game from the beginning. Oh, and
me pacho, you question, me pacho, Musa question kakra.
Yeah.
Me pacho, na say ya, almost on bayin on the 60, no, almost to me and asem name ya. Almost on my print it. Me pacho mami, o ma print it we no with Priscilla the D also already I think.
I don't think actually.
I don't
know.
Michael.
Nadia, me pacho mpese me nka asem kitwe bi. Mami akosia de no oye no. On the seat no. Mo yentie ma Ernestina nsem bi oka. Hwa mami Ernestina no oka say on the seat no. Okay, man, she's not, excuse me to say with all due respect, Mpacho, she's not stupid.
I know.
To be saying that. She has discussed with her lawyer already.
Yes.
And there is a plan there. And
I hope so.
Because the judge, right now, the judge, reason why the judge say I can do everything before sitting here is because of whatever stuff that is behind, before her. All issues now, applications now, it's already before her. The only thing is like in Chiremu no nema.
I say infoni na mo de kotre document na mo de kotre.
Yes.
It's very likely say I started saying say I don't think they've gone to formally inform Otumfo.
Yeah.
But they probably used the president's.
Yes, Inti Mommy, what the patron about? Inti Mommy,
Michael, let me just clarify that part, then you can elaborate on it.
Okay.
That they presented something like, look, we've done this, we've even gone as far as doing this. And I think what they might have shown here was to say that you do know that the presidency has a tight schedule, and we've already confirmed this, and they've given us this date. So it will be difficult to change the date. That there is no way I would expect the judiciary to come against the executive. And I'm sure the judge too will be mindful of her own work, especially in the climate that we have in Ghana between the judiciary and the executive. So she's going to be recalcitrant.
No. I'm supposing.
If that's what they've used. That's one of the reasons
Papa Shiba can't say on the seats, no man can't Nasia
but they could easily they put it up to the court. The court will just be guided by what is before her. Like some judges will say to you outright, there's no need to attend. I'll deal on this case, or I'll make a judgment based on the documents before me. I don't need you to come back again. She can see them on Friday and say she's had enough documents. They should go and come back on a certain date, and she'll use the documents before her. And then she also informs herself from the things that are around. She listens. If you notice, she made a comment about kind of language that was being used against people and all that. So they are aware of all these things. What do I say? We don't want to suppose, like somebody rightly said, maybe they pick, but don't worry. As far as I'm concerned, they know the case they have and how porous it is. What do I say? Everybody, you know the weight of the case you have. So you have a strategy that you map out. For instance, they blanketed, as we call it, today. They came up 6 lawyers, all dressed up against one barrister. You understand what I'm saying? It's all for layering. We call it layering or blanketing, to show that they are a formidable Jew. And when they came outside, they played the media game. They did not even mention the fact that they withdrew their first case. You understand? The capacity motion that they had filed, They didn't mention it at all. They rather just pushed on the injunction was when we got a victory for Obusiapeni. It's part of the game they are playing. It's their strategy.
Paying Patrick
You have to bear that in mind. So that
paying Casa.
Sorry, you go watch it.
No problem. And I'm back.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Touch you say now your friends say play play I say they are doing some layering covering up.
Yeah.
So the team with 6 or 7 barristers.
You say they
was a formidable team. That's what I mean.
They want to win on technicalities because the substance of it now. Case. And nothing I may say lawyer no should up his game because a year I can once a capacity motion. Who said the capacity motion was filed after injunction? No. So the injunction has nothing to do with capacity.
Yes.
It has nothing whatsoever to do with capacity. I don't know say to legal wise for amount for
I think you are wrong there. 2 things I must correct you on. Never say that a lawyer. What was the first thing you said about the lawyers that they don't?
No, me see,
know what they are doing.
No, he was saying that they should up their game.
He's saying that lawyer Kusi should up his game. Previously he said something about the Busapenin's lawyers that they didn't.
They want to win on technicality.
If you were privy to some of the interviews that lawyer Kusi made after the 16th. He mentioned when he gave that elaborate interview that the judge was most uncomfortable with the way they suddenly filed an intention to present a motion on the 15th.
Okay.
And then when they came in on the 16th, they practically were now taking instructions. They all knew, said this was just a ruse to buy time. It is something that sometimes lawyers do. What you are saying.
Yes.
And she actually mentioned it and cautioned them and said, what they said, delay tactics, the bar, I will definitely put cost on you. So she said that.
Yeah.
Today too, there's something else that I've picked in what they said, which means that and when I looked around and heard a few things, I realized that this is not a judge who wants to be messed around with. They are given a definite timetable, with dates and in there, and she has apparently stated, say, she's going to start her hearings at 9:30 because apparently the team that came from Obusapeni were saying they had to come all the way from Accra, and they came from Accra, and she was like, Ubibese, you are coming from the moon. If you are not here by 9:30, I'm starting my case. I'm not going to wait for you. No more excuses.
But
he's not going to be swayed. I think it is also unfair on the other, the lawyer representing Mark to say that he didn't know what they were doing. The essence of the capacity was that Mark Kushia did not have the locus to bring this suit before the court.
That wasn't the injunction.
This is what. Therefore, there was already the injunction on there.
Yes, that's what OPE was saying.
If you look at the application that Mapushia put in, you would have seen that there were 3 or 4 points. Of which the injunction was somewhere down there. I'll come to you in a minute. I just want you to get the
I have all the facts. Let me interject you. Let me expect court and say I was expecting lawyer judge and say Obi Amoma be filing motion last minute. Me amount 2 weeks I'm gonna prepare. Na mo respond motion. Na mo buy I must withdraw motion there. Make us all bomb. That
is her courtroom. She does what she wants to do, and it's a prerogative to do that.
Yeah, it's a prerogative. But let me say,
honestly, there was a strategy that was played out too. It was a nonsense move let me be speaking plain English for you to understand. It's not language you use in court. You are saying that she is not a wife. You have been for arbitration 2 days or 3 days ago at the palace. You were not able to satisfy the wifey on the other side, on this side. She was able to prove it. In her own application, she has attached her marriage certificate. Yesterday, she released a press statement showing that the German embassy confirming her marital status.
Yes.
What I say?
Yeah.
It will only be a foolhardy person who would go in and say, I'm still insisting she's not a wife. What I say? So they were definitely going to withdraw, which somebody was saying earlier on. I'm not sure if it was DJ or the other man who was on. That look, it could be a big trap that is being set to these people. But
I'm the one who said it.
Yes, you can project, you can try to, but never try to think for the lawyer or the judge, especially the judge. You understand? Especially the judge. The judge will have to read several cases, and apparently she mentioned it. And there are several cases that me myself have seen. You understand? That this is not the first time, but for the first time we are playing this out in real time, a living legend or a deceased legend. So it's very high profile for that matter. We have a legend who has been loved by so many, about to be given a state burial. You understand? So this decision, she has to be very careful, because it will definitely be a mark on her profile if she's going to have it ever written, because she will be cited for it. What I say? So if they withdrew the case, Ma's case was that I am the wife. Stop this lady from carrying herself from being the wife, and I want to be able to do my customary blah 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 blah. So in that case, put a stop on the corpse which is being held at transitions, so that they cannot go ahead with any funeral without you clearing this thing for me. Basically, that's what she's gone for. So if they have withdrawn it and and withdrawing it, it means they've accepted that she is a Mrs. She is the legitimate wife.
No, touch me.
Therefore, there will be no need. And then she gave another reason. The hearing is going to be, the funeral is supposed to be settled for the 6th. If she says that she'll be finished by the 25th, no, there's ample time for them to do or do not. You understand?
Okay.
So why did she put it on there? It will be a long wait. It's not going to stay longer.
Hey, touching a rare advocating there. Touching a rare advocating. I really love how we advocate. Nice one.
Okay. We should never think of the judge. That's one thing. If the judge even hears that, she'll be angry with us. You know,
I think so too.
They don't like that.
Obey, me follow why. Me follow.
Obey kasa.
Obey kasa. Some more, bra.
Okay. The Biana American say, a motion for capacity. It has nothing to do with the injunction. It means what? And me motion capacity me baby. Motion capacity me after say omukotnaso.
They surprised it. They notified the court on Wednesday.
Yeah, but and we
were trying to buy time, yes.
And I say, Mamma, no show a year walk on. Mammy claims now. One of the claims they say a bushia penny, court me restraining a bushia penny. Say, Manene Pressla and fat a yen wagredia, only restraining a bushia penny from collaborating with Odobu.
I know you're about you.
Yeah, do what you
but you see, I know. Court no one lifting injunction no, and one man abushia penny go ahead say your funeral arrangement.
Dabi, I'm say court no say one.
The family.
Injunction by no was say, mamma no or say, Madame Sema be in court, but Sena Massa media be in court. Me share, Michel Petin Takremua. Tama ibetuma di asem awie no ebetuma ha we ye date no ye ni date no nti aka mesre injection enda eye body no so na tie ye bi
Michael
what meba mami nchiro bibi yeah no ono wa bo asem na to like one ma say ho kwan no wa ma ho kwan because ma mene say obema judgment no matter what by 20 feet that's 2 weeks clear of funeral no so it will be enough for the funeral to be done.
But Michael,
I just want to say, into or say, once a case ni kosono, a busiano funeral committee no sono, or met my or mama dear. Michael, I just want to say, into case ni kosono, by the time you be assembled by 20 feet, no, na committee no so ma I or my dear, if you na kai some 2 weeks be a bear 1 to be pena, a year to my basso, because of assembly done in him, or no, shall assembly done in him, no, other case, oh, assembly way dear, and yes, some mecha me force ya dear no, all within 20 feet, maybe.
Michael,
what just what you say?
And Rama many filing injunction, not a yearly date in my.
Yeah, any date number.
Not my.
Holum ne mom be yes, that time we plan and let us PPA by now.
I'm filing a rate now. I'm filing a rate on the third.
Amuko Julia Debra time eh.
How was it
on the second?
On the was it on the 5th or
the Tuesday?
Yeah. No my
Openye it wasn't the 5th. Say na opa we bet me akwa.
Na date na kofa nsam ba no.
Date no ne koyi nsam no.
Yes.
Obi nkasenti a judge no. Now
that's what exactly what I'm trying to let you understand.
There's a strategy going on. But on my insurance, there's a strategy going on now. Almost per se, Obi Kassetia judge, not judge, you guys have to be careful.
Never ever suppose that you know more about the judge. Judge, an independent. We have to have faith in our laws. I mean, when you go into the judge, the courtroom, you are there for justice. That is why we have the skills. What you are saying, and they are the head. That is her forte. That is her castle. That is her, and she's done like earlier on. No more commenting and say, "Oh, amamrena no why you know?" Because that traditional look, you can qualify and get a first class and be the A-list barrister in this country. Would you Ghana also 3 months or 6 months or something to learn our traditional laws? What you are saying? Because and even in this country, in the UK, our laws are researched as high as the Supreme Court of the UK. Almost taking cognizance of it. Because the amamrano were a Kromuha, Britain, Emran, what you are saying? Yen the no say no, you name says and ma, but people are not even aware and they say ma or yet traditional no or sign consigne your friend is saying AME or a KME or something like that. Yeah. So that made it ordinance. And then she came to cement it in Germany. But we are talking of an ordinance marriage and the law is pure and clear. So if somebody got married in 2010, it's a good 6 years after she got married in 2004. So it's null and void. But the person is insisting that they are still a wife.
Please, don't make sense. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, but that the person's defense is that they are still a wife. So let's see what they are bringing forth.
Simple and short.
That's all. And me, I'm more concerned with the new information that's coming out about what could have made killed our legend. Well, and also, so no, let us not suppose. Let us just hope that
the authorities have touch. Don't use the word. Don't use the word. The K word. Touch. Don't use the word K word. Obian type F1. Obian type F1. Oh, that Miss Hemaa. Type F1.
Our legend. Whoever whom a legend. the coming of our legend is what is imperative, that we make sure that we sound the right authorities.
You can use honor life. You can use honor life.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I find that very strange, but we'll see how to do that. But let's say the expiration of our legend is something that we need to research. So let's use the social media wisely. I always advise people that the power of social media is untoward. It's the same thing that caused the Arab Spring. People don't realize that. What you are saying, and let's say if you go to Cameroon, they use social media. They're trying to turn over the verdicts of the polls that they had recently, and they are doing all this through social media. Most of the noise that has been made on this social media is what has gotten people to start looking at things critically without insults. I don't believe in insults. I would say it as it is, but let's not try to presuppose that the judge should have or could have or didn't not. No.
Touch.
They are professional.
But touch. I'm coming on. They call bimbo. Touch. This one, proper. We don't need to even like war and cross off. Why am I saying so? Because share about the moon crampon, the people na muamuko for moon crying. Ekoye nyama another nyeduano crampon are not even the family, and none of the family even included it. Into na me with a lawyer no. Or yeah, trickish and what trauma champagne to see is a average of knowledge, you know. What they are saying. It's not we should understand. Oh, share all this kind of instrument here. Touch me. Oh, share all this kind of touch.
I do. My fancy is better. I'm a chemical educated person.
I see. But your mama opening the thoughts.
Opening is not a happy man. Opening, let it out. Let's see what you are able to.
Opening free home. Opening.
America say, Bishop Penny Saka, someone's but what and then find on tour. And I will share. There's an outstanding case. Nipana, you see a PC, no crown. The cool, you know, indeed, and I make us a benty judgment about what say. This is still a monko yet funeral arrangement. Because and then
some person who look room, number who look room, oh Michael, ne, touch money, you people rather quote me at Nana, Sawatu, on my mamma, maybe I say one, maybe I'm showing Panini about you guys continue.
Okay, the patch of Mummy, why interjection in those? Yes, a funeral, yeah, widow, and now Obano, you gas spouse, no, contesting the right, and say she has been included. I say, I didn't come home, the innocent chain. Say, you didn't determine the position. Innocent chain. Yes, a funeral. We can quite of us who the circumstances surrounding his death, I questionable. But Yama go ahead, say, a bush penny is still now uncle yet, a musician. Mekwa, Obana Yanko testing say, Obana consign contract, only Flora consign contract, Obana conduct autopsy. I mean, I can't want some. But yes, still now a bush and a bush penny car. Na ye ka say o si one nana no abusha pani ko tunfo ho no obi o be ka kire ye say nana hema ewu enti menhia ye ye ni wi menhia na di date ni beba obi ehu de na abusha pani be tena social media e no no di date ni ba a wan go so menhia na that time me engage obatiwa e no obatiwa kra kire ni say na nke so ko sipa ko so hu ye wan ko ye. It is the due steps in the due process now. Ye kase customary no busha penny say ye on kwa on fa custom you so on fa custom on fa tradition so no ye bibia as we taking decision unilaterally it may and now we call ye na ye ka say still na busha penny yan granting injunction because injunction no anka e be several purposes on so many fronts apart from fight they say you be determine who is the legal spouse and who is the widow no.
Power tap please, somebody is typing F1 power tap.
Yeah.
Apart from say yeah can say I see a determine no. Why you should pay ni first way na ye no committee na was setting no any lumba na ye ko sie no mo si sis ni ye ko sie no kra ye nya hu de ku no eti na na me ka say nya na me ka set ya lawyer no but lawyer say ebia you feel say you have overwhelming evidence ebia me ka ebia o ebia na relax kakra
Mama kada it has in then two motions depending
fantiale kantina kale ma fan me takwadum fanta dada wa touch
but the fresh
fanta pale kantina kale ma takwadum fanta dada wa ade bi
wa kuma mra form
me pamocho let me explain to you and then no na your case no and then no na your two motions no what you say two applications na wo
but touching
mama explain it baby ntero
oh that be me touch tie me e bia wona wonya ntie two motions na wo kan and medical catch say star capacity ni dey e ba e kire it's not a substantive issue that we are dealing with
exactly it will be dealt started on Friday
enti omo no de ba no ekura se makanso menwe enti omo no de ba no masan yi o ma de but immediately na ke nyame pano ye na nyame pano e injunction no
then open ade na wo besa wo je tu mu say
atiwa
open on the 16th
touch no mesro anka we no obeso onka bibia o de obeso reply opinion o de reply no in term na obi so ne reply
me pesa me reply opinion ba ko pe opinion mesra ma kuma mra form na de wo kan nyina no nyansa wom na no kran so na ade ba ko ne se wo de asam kokoto a e wo se wonya abotre because omo de mra any technicalities bi na ye adwuma abusua pen na yes ye gya no so nko ye yi no abusua pen ko antimi nya yi o what you say e wo so kono abusua fu ni nyina ya ba ko no mo ye enu nti wo betie ne kasem wo se we ayi abusua no e wo se ko ne nyina ko tase ne ko ye nti enye easy saa yes omo ko ye yi na hwan no ne ko ye ntoto ye ontimi ni odoburo yi ni omo maka no enko ye saa ntoto ye no without akosua bempoma ne ayi anti akosua no without omo no ontimi nye bibia enti no title na de ama no ye de ama no se ye de ama no se de ama no but I dim na kasa ye na sumbie ni fie what you say and nye ba bi so nye court no bibia na obegiram so momna na mmeka mu nyina masem eno ya busua pan ni se obedi no kore no wa hwe na ode de da ato de eda na de asumbie beba wanye saa entokwan de se ya kan court wi but eda so ginam what you say
okay no so wa de me suggest ni say me suggestion na me de manuasi de busua pan ni ye na wo ka say ye say busua pan ni ko tutu ni nyoma no otufo kra di kan ka kire no ko kateze uwachi na ko tutu na isisi wachi ansa no aba and we a different thing altogether the me mesre eye maame akusha bompo ma ono na mesre no se abusua hia na se omu ye meeting anka me on se otufo ntankase no ntankase ndu so because one se ukosi pa akusha wo yin ayi unye enti one fasa na mre kwa so no se okoso no ye yin hihye ya otunfo ntankese
wana na opeso on cancer on yes ano akosu anase Ernestina
da bi Ernestina ono ne fe na kosha brempoma no
okay good o medwin sa wanka manti brempoma ntina make o
da bi na kosha brempoma because ntankese for those who are here omu no ntankese no it serves also as an injunction and no ye otunfo injunction and a secondly lumba daddy lumba ewu ye no ma ye fese ma me abusha brempoma ope clarification bi ho eto betimi nso asren tankese aka second tankese se abusha panyi am ye hunu de ku lumba na mitiri mu anya ne fine na okoso ye ne hihye ya otu fo tankese na o kasa ntamwe ewu otu abusha panyi so. Because say ni omo ya de no say omo spread adeɛ no across two front eti sɛ maame akosua sɛ wa ɛde ne gyina court a na yɛfɛ sɛ maame akosua ma ɛso ne gyina otumfoɔ ìbọn sɛ mate sɛ yɛsɛ president so afile case ɛwɔ Accra High Court.
Báwo ni bí a ṣe 50 minutes.
Ọ̀nà ne capacity ne marriage certificate kò tí mi fa mẹ́ kyerẹ́ ọ̀n fa pẹ̀lú bí a mẹ́ kyerẹ́.
Pàtó.
Nana sawa o di awo fɛn bi a o se asam na o nana sawa o yɛ o ni papa kura o.
Dabi o ti pàtó mo ti asɛm o ase di nketewa ka asɛm bi ɔno ɔyɛ panyimu no ɔsi kwasie biara kra bɛtuma akɔ court.